Hello, guys. Welcome back to Winter Go Home podcast. You're with Dan again, and I just wanted to talk to you about the Week 1 roundup for baseball. See who's pretending and who's contending. Some predictions throw out your way. We're going to start off with the AL East, and currently in first place, the 4-2 Boston Red Sox, who many may have thought they'd be on the decline. The starting pitching still isn't there. They're slowing down. They lost Euclid. They lost a couple pieces. But the bright spots for this team in the future are going to be Pedroia and Will Middlebrooks. Will Middlebrooks, I think, is going to be a stud. I think he'll hit 30 home runs up above from his 15 from last year, even though it wasn't a full year. But, I see the Red Sox competing and getting up for a bunch of games, and they can win any game, but I think they're a 500 team and not really going to compete for the division. The Orioles, on the other hand, starting off 3-3, they have an exciting lineup with guys like Adam Jones, the monster man of Chris Davis. I don't know what that's about. Manny Machado, Matt Wieters, They got a nice, young, talented lineup and a lot of guys you don't want to pitch to. Starting pitching, it's there. It could use a little help, but, they have a formidable closer at the end who led the league in saves last year in Jim Johnson, and Oria as a couple to start the season. I think they should be comfortable in that role. I think they're going to compete most likely for a wild card. The Rays, I have at 3-3. Their pitching is there to be successful, but Evan Longoria needs help. He needs help in the worst way. Guys like Loney and Zobrist, they're baseball players, but you could just pitch around Longoria. Like, why would there be a reason to pitch to Evan Longoria in that lineup unless the bases are loaded with 2 outs? Also, not in the Rays' favor is that fan attendance is just... I play in front of larger crowds in front of my softball games on Sunday mornings, 9 to 11. Come by if you're in the Rockland area, by the way. We got the Yankees starting off at 2-4. Not much of a surprise there. A lot of Yankee fans even worried about this season, and this start is kind of a stark reality that they're getting old. The injuries are catching up with them. You could blame the injuries, but who's getting injured? Guys like Teixeira, Jeter, Granderson. The guys have been in the league for a long time, and the wear and tear will catch up with you. Rivera's back, which is a great sign, very exciting, but of what we've seen from him, he looks hittable. 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Already gave up a bunch of hits and two innings of work, 4.5 ERA. This isn't Mariano Rivera. Granted, it's early. Hopefully, he'll turn it around. Would not be too concerned about Rivera turning it around, so that's a bright spot. The wins just have to come. All that being said, if they can do what they do and get healthy and, compete for a wild card spot, they are not to be overlooked in any playoff matchup. That's what they do. That's what the Yankees do. If you're rooting against the Yankees, you do not want them to sneak into the playoffs. I do not think they will, though. The Jays, starting off slow at 2-4, I got them as contenders, Slow start, very much so of what happened to the Miami Marlins. Hopefully the Miami Blue Jays are a different team, can put it together. On paper, this team is ridiculous. On paper, they already won the next 3 World Series, but for whatever reason, they're playing like the Miami Marlins right now. I think they're going to hit a stride and like a serious Miami Heat stride and just build up a big enough lead in the AL East to eventually just take that down. I have the Jays coming back and winning the division, coming off their 2-4 start. For the Central, AL Central, we got the White Sox ending the week in first place, actually tied with the Twins, who we will get to. The White Sox, they're going to compete in this division. Their 1-2 punch of PV and Chris Sale is really one of the best in the league as long as they stay healthy. Sale is really exciting. Rios, Canerico, Dunn, Viciado, respectable heart of the order. Can't hate on that. I think Diane Viciado is going to be a monster, like 30, 35-plus home run monster. If you're in Fantasy Baseball League, get him before people know who he is, I'm telling you. Twins, we got starting off at 4-2. They are pretenders, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Morneau and Maurer just doesn't carry the same weight that he used to 5-7 years ago. They too just seem like the season rushed up on them. They just had to put a bunch of people together, throwing them out there for other teams to beat up on. I don't see them competing in this division or this league. The Indians playing a little 3-3 baseball. I think that's where they are. They're a 500 team or better. You know, I wouldn't overlook their lineup. Very solid lineup, born at the top. Cabrera, Kitness, you got Santana. You know, they're pitching a little suspect. But if Ubaldo can be who the question we've been asking for a couple of years now, if he can get back to his contract season, Ubaldo Jimenez, I think the Indians could float around this division, play very competitively. The Royals, you know, same deal. It's like the Royals mold. We'll build up these young guys, let them get really good, and we're probably going to trade them. We will probably trade them when they get good. Moustakas, Eric Hosmer, Billy Butler, Alex Gordon, like all these guys, the potential is there, but I feel like for the Royals, even if they don't meet their potential, it's like, oh man, another bust. If they reach their potential, they're probably not going to be with the team next year. You just got to hold on to these guys. You got to lock them up. Finishing the division, the Central, in last place this week is the Tigers at a respectable 3-3. You know, a couple showdowns with the Yankees. I think they're as complete a team as there is. You know, Verlander, Scherzer, Fister can all get it done. Their lineup, you already know, with Fielder, Cabrera, Martinez, Austin Jackson, the list goes on. But their only downfall right now that I see is their closing. They don't even have a closer. I don't know how long they can go with the closer by committee platform. I guess we'll just have to see. Moving over to the AL West. By the way, I don't know if I gave my prediction. I have the Tigers coming back and winning the Central, with the White Sox competing for the second wild card spot. They could get it, they could not, to the Rangers. We'll talk more about that. For the AL West, I have the A's at 5-2, pretender. You know, they somehow always find a way to get things done. Their pitching is under the radar, but it's very good. But I don't see them. There's just better teams out there. I don't see them competing too long. They're such a wild card. I don't know. Not the wild card, but I don't see them doing anything. Pretender. The Rangers at 4-2, you know, losing Hamilton and Young. I think that's going to be too much. Luckily, they're in one of the weaker divisions. So, I mean, I think they will come in second in the division by default. Darvish is the real deal. That game, you know, 8 2/3, we all heard it. We all saw it. I was watching it live, and that was as hard to watch as young Kevin Ware breaking his leg. You just hated to see it. everybody's mouths just drop. It's a shame. But moving on, we have the Mariners at 3-4 this week. I love the addition of the power bats and Morales and Morris. Morris is an absolute monster right now with 5 home runs. And you just hope that they'll click with young guys, young prospects like Justin Smoke and Jesus Montero. You just hope those guys turn around. For the sake of the franchise, you know? More so for King Felix, but for the sake of the franchise, you know? I do think the King will get a bunch more wins with those power bats, just maybe getting a late home run to seal the deal on his 1-0 victory. Starting off slow, we got the Angels. I got them as contenders, you know. They will eventually get everything going. Their lineup is just way too deep. Pujols and Hamilton, does that make any sense? Oh, let's add Mike Trout. That'll make sense. You know, they're not afraid to play National League Baseball at the same time, you know. Get the bunt down, move runners over, just scoring runs. In, like, a series standpoint, playoff series, I'm putting them at the top, winning the division. I think losing Greinke will hurt them. They aren't too deep after Weaver, but regular season-wise, their lineup is going to be able to carry them. The Astros, 1-5, pretenders or contenders. I have them as pretenders. I cannot believe they already won a game in the American League. Guys, that's all my time. Stay tuned for my next podcast. I'll be covering the National League Week in Review. Thank you.
These ideas are nightmares to white parents whose worst fear is a child with dyed hair and who likes earrings. Like whatever